And here we go. Welcome to Season 2 of the Pulse of Ithaca podcast, your go-to entertainment news in the greater Ithaca, New York area. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Pete, your host, and joining me for Season 2 is my new co-host, Mike, aka Mikey Swerves. This week, we'll be diving into the local music and entertainment news at Ithaca, including some exciting album releases and upcoming concerts. Thanks for joining us, and let's get started. Yes, Mike, great to be with you here at the Canopy Hotel in downtown Ithaca.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you.
Super excited.
Thanks for joining me as we kick off Season 2. We've got Season 1 under our belt, had the summer off, and so excited to get back into it, sharing with everybody here in Ithaca all the great music and everything that's going on in here in Ithaca. But before we dive into this new season of the Pulse of Ithaca, I wanted to take a moment to give a special shout out to my previous co-host, Sean. Sean was here from the beginning, helping bring this idea to life and contributing so much to what we've built so far. So I'm incredibly grateful for all of the great times that we had, the conversations, and the hard work that we've shared on this journey. And for all of our listeners out there, if you'd like to keep up with Sean and his adventures, be sure to check out his Instagram. He's at srum11. That's at SRUMM11. He's getting into some incredible outdoor explorations, and I'm sure that you all will enjoy following along with him. So thanks again to Sean for all of his great contributions over the past season.
Yeah, Sean.
And now I'm very excited to introduce our new co-host to the Pulse of Ithaca, Michael, aka Mikey Swerves. Mike is a freelance photographer, a lover of the outdoors, and like me, a transplant to Ithaca who has made this amazing place his home. His passion for local scene and nature combined with his creative eye is going to bring a fresh perspective to the podcast. I'm thrilled to have you aboard, and I can't wait for all of our listeners to get to know you as well as we dive into this new chapter together. Mike, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Pete. I'm super excited to be here. I was listening last season with you and Sean, miss Sean obviously, but I'm super excited for this opportunity. So thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. It's so good to have you on board. You were actually on our list of people to interview last year, and we ran out of time as Season 1 came to close. So here you are. It's great to have you on the podcast. How has your summer been? What's been going on with you for the past few months?
Yeah, it's been good. I inherited a dog about halfway through the summer, so me and Marlo spent the time walking around Tauganic, walking around the Black Diamond Trails. I spent a lot of time in Finger Lakes National Forest.
Oh yeah.
So just like, I live out on West Hills, so it's the West Hills side of hiking in this area.
Absolutely. Right on. And what else have you been into besides hiking out on the Diamond Trails? I know that you're into photography. It's one of your passions. And you actually recently mentioned that you're getting into shooting more musicians here for photography. Yeah,
that's been super fun. I think like coming into Ithaca, I didn't know a lot of people, and I've started to get to know more people, and a lot of them have ended up being musicians, which just seems to be a thing here.
Yeah, it's definitely popular.
So just, showing up with my camera in places and trying to get more into that side of things has been great. Nature photography has always been my passion, but people are fun to shoot now too. And I've really enjoyed doing the live music photography that I've done.
Absolutely. I've definitely been enjoying following along on your Instagram, all of your photography and your concert photography as well. So looking forward to getting to hear more about your adventures as we go through the future episodes.
Yeah, for sure. How's your summer been?
My summer's been great. As a result of this podcast last year, I actually have been spending a little bit more time outdoors. Sean got me out and about quite a bit more. So thanks to Sean again for having such a big impact on me getting outside. I actually started mountain biking this past summer, which has been a lot of fun. Shout out to the guys at Cycle CNY. They have group rides on Tuesdays at Shindagan Hollow State Forest and also out at Hammond Hill. They've been a super welcoming group. Also had a chance to get out with Steve Gelb from the Old Goat Bike Shop, also the owner of the Bike Bar. He's taken me out a bunch of times. along with a handful of my other friends. Just a great biking community that we've had here. It's been just they've been so welcoming, and had such a great positive impact on my life over the past summer. So really enjoyed that. Lots of good music. Went to Grassroots, went to Ithaca Reggae Fest, did some camping at some state forest. And yeah, it's just been overall a great summer.
Yeah, I've really been enjoying like following along your ascent into mountain biking, particularly because like I think we come from the same realm of like enjoying doing photography with whatever we're doing.
Right.
So like the photography you've been doing and the drone stuff with your mountain biking has been super fun for me to follow on Instagram.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad you've been enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun for me as well. And we're fortunate enough to live in such a great area that there's just an abundance of opportunity to get great footage and photography. And
yeah, no, I mean, like, I think, we're both drawn to that living in Ithaca. It's just like we're surrounded by so much, beautiful nature all of the time. So if you're hiking it, you're biking it, you're even just driving around up here is just like something I enjoyed.
Yeah,
doing.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you've been enjoying it, and thank you for saying that. Definitely looking forward to the fall coming up here. So much great music as always, so many great festivals that are coming up. So really looking forward to sharing with everyone our adventures here in Ithaca over the upcoming fall season.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I mean, do we want to get into what's coming up this fall in terms of events and concerts?
So before we get into the upcoming events, let's talk a little bit about Porch Fest last weekend. I had such a good time hanging out with you. We saw a few bands. We got to walk around. What were some of the highlights for you for Porch Fest?
Yeah, it was a good time. This was my first Ithaca Porch Fest, so
nice.
It's just like a new experience for me. I moved here from Philadelphia, but we had a Porch Fest in Philadelphia in West Philly when I lived there too. So it has a very similar feel of just like the neighborhood kind of coming together, the town kind of coming together, and seeing all types of different acts in locations that you wouldn't normally see shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think it helped on Sunday that we were just like on the end of that like amazing run of weather.
Oh my gosh, it was so dry.
Yeah.
It was hot. Like best end of summer ever.
Yeah. No, but it was like fun sitting and watching Steve's band, Working Folk String Band.
Absolutely.
Seen them at Bike Bar a few times, and not a huge string band person, but
okay.
I think I have an appreciation for all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
And hanging out with everyone at that was really good. We walked over to North Star after that, and what was the band that was playing when we got there?
Oh, you know what? I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on the name, but yeah, they were great.
They were so much fun.
They were good. Maybe I'll put it in the comments down below. I'll do some research and add them in there. But they were great, and that was followed up by the Analog Sons, which was great. So we had fun there. Got some Babes Burgers. It's just nice after like kind of hanging out in the street all day. Listening to bands on people's porches, you don't necessarily have the best sound. You might not have the best sight lines. You might not have best seating. It's nice to kind of close it off at a venue at the end of Fall Creek there. Yeah. So that was super cool. And then I actually rode my bike home shortly after the Analog Sun started, after I ate. What did you end up doing for the rest of the time? Yeah, so like we were up at North Star, and I had kind of parked downtown, so I had to walk about 1.5 miles back to my car, like all the way back through the end of Porch Fest. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of an amazing walk, like beautiful, like 5 p.m., like golden hour light. Yeah. Such an array of music, like everything from singer-songwriters to a punk band to a 75-year-old woman singing Aretha Franklin, like just in a way that owned it. And I like stopped and every half a block and was just like, this is cool. Yeah, it is cool. And I had the same experience too. I kind of had a few bands that I definitely wanted to see. But as I was riding my bike down from Northeast Ithaca and trying to get to where I was going, I just kept stopping every 4 or 5 houses. Every block there was a different band playing. And like you said, it runs the gamut, right? There's just so many different bands out there. And I feel like, we talk about the pulse of Ithaca. I feel like I have a good pulse of the different music here, but there's just so many bands. Well, like even like looking at the calendar for Porch Fest, there's like not many groups that I've heard of. Right. Yeah, same. But also just like in a town that's not that big to have a music scene that can cultivate every genre of music and have a band that's probably pretty good in that genre I think is a real testament to the art scene here. I think it's super cool. Yeah, absolutely. Another highlight for me was a friend of mine that I work with was actually in a ukulele band.
Nice.
And they were playing at the corner of Yates, and I don't know where the intersection there, but they have a ukulele band. There's actually 2 bands that he played in throughout the course of the day, but that particular house has some very historic significance. Apparently, the person who owned that house passed away a few years ago, and she was very influential in the community and the ukulele scene. And apparently she had dozens and dozens of ukuleles.
She had so many ukuleles. I was in that house. There was so many ukuleles.
Yeah. So tell me about that a little bit. How did you, you ended up going in the house? I think you told me this while we were there.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. My neighbor does some work like helping clear out space in people's houses. And I have a pickup truck, and she invited me because she needed to move some things, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna love this house. It's full of ukuleles."
Oh my gosh, that is fascinating.
I was like, "That's a really interesting thing." And I walked into this house, and it was full of ukuleles.
Oh my gosh, that is so wild.
There had to be 150 ukuleles in that house.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Yeah, so just so cool to see her legacy continuing on. They had a handful of musicians up there on stage. And just, again, just such a cool experience. And I think we talked about this a little bit last year, but, it's one thing to have a schedule and to know where you want to be and check out different bands. But the magic at Porch Fest really happens when you get off of your schedule and just cruise around the neighborhood, kind of like you did on your own at the end of the night,
absolutely,
walking back to your car.
Yep.
Right.
It felt really great. It felt really special.
Yeah, absolutely. And some people might not know this. Porch Fest actually originated in Ithaca. If you go back and look up the history, it has spawned Porch Fests all over the country.
That's awesome.
And Ithaca was one of the first ones to do it. I don't remember the exact details of when it was started, but so cool to see something that is, original here to Ithaca kind of take off. When I lived in Buffalo, they had a Porch Fest up there too. So you mentioned that there was one in Philadelphia. Yeah. Such a cool scene.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and get into what's going on in Ithaca over the next few weeks. I'll kick things off with Apple Fest. It's the 41st Apple Festival here in Ithaca. That's happening Friday, September 27th through the 29th here in Ithaca. It's the 41st year, as I mentioned, and it's got a vibrant array of delicious apple-themed treats for people, fresh produce, unique crafts, and live music. Visitors can enjoy farm-stand fresh apples, seasonal baked goods, diverse food trucks, and a craft fair showcasing regional artisans. So it's a family-friendly event. It draws visitors from near and far to savor the seasonal flavors and experience the charm of Ithaca in the autumn. So like I said, there's live music, there's street performers, baked goods, crafts. There's going to be wineries for tasting, there's going to be cideries, and of course, lots of apples. One of my favorite parts of the Apple Festival is the bands and the music that's played here all weekend. There's going to be 2 stages. There's the Bernie Milton Pavilion, and then there's also going to be a mini mobile stage presented by Sound on Sound Productions. So really looking forward to the music that's coming up this weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to some apple cider donuts. Is there any bands that you're really looking to see? Yeah,
so I was looking at the schedule. The full schedule is available at www.downtownithaca.com. Looking forward to seeing the cast iron local favorites, the cast iron Cowboys. Scuba Jerry is also playing a set on Sunday at 1 p.m.
Breaking news that we just found out.
Yeah, right? That's right. They were a late addition to the schedule. So super excited for that. And then also Sunny Weather was a band that stuck out to me. Band that I saw at Grassroots probably 15 years ago. And great to see that they're still playing music and something I'm really looking forward to. And once again, that schedule, the full concert schedule, which I highly recommend people checking out, is www.downtownithaca.com. There's a few more events coming up. We also have the Finger Lakes Comedy Festival. That's September 26th to the 28th. That's a 3-day comedy festival happening in the heart of Ithaca. They have 2 locations, one at the Kitchen Theater Company at 417 West State Street, and at the downstairs as well at 121 West State Street. So that's brought to you by Too Funny ENT. Too Funny Entertainment. Their website for all the tickets and the schedule is at toofunny, the number 2, funny, ENT.com. Also, a couple more concerts that I'm super excited coming up in the next few weeks. We have one of my all-time favorites, as our listeners know, Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad,
Oh, that's going to be fun.
hailing from Rochester, New York, will be here on October 10th. And it's hard to believe, but they are celebrating their 20th anniversary as a band. Where does the time go? I remember seeing them back in Buffalo, probably around 05, 06. So I've been with them from the beginning, and it's just so great to see how they've grown. Are you going to make it out for that one?
Yeah, I'm going to try to. I've never seen them.
Okay.
They were in a band that I knew before I knew you, actually.
Okay.
I was like, living here, and I know that they've been big here for a little while. But something that I've enjoyed since I've come here. So yeah, and it's a deep dive too, which is a great room.
Yeah, absolutely. So super excited about that. They also have a bunch of other events coming up over the next month at Deep Dive, as they always do. So check out their full event lineup at deepdiveithaca.com. Also coming up in the next couple of weeks at the State Theater, we have Neko Case. That's the Neko Case Fall Tour 2024. That is happening Friday, October 4th at 8 p.m. at the State Theater. And all tickets are available at stateofithaca.org.
I'm looking forward to that one. I really enjoy Neko Case, both her individual stuff and the stuff that she's done with New Pornographers, and
yeah.
So I think that's going to be fun. I just went to the State Theater for the first time.
Oh, who'd you see?
I saw Cat Power.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah,
How was that show?
It was good. She was doing Bob Dylan covers.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, it was really fun. What a beautiful room. Just like
absolutely, that theater is amazing. The sound is so good in
really
there.
Lovely.
We're so fortunate to have such a nice building here.
Yeah. I mean, going from the State Theater, they're like, so much great music happens here, though. Like, is there some of the under the radar things coming up too that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Bike Bar, our local watering hole,
Never been.
is having quite a few bands booked coming up here over the next couple of weeks. September 26th, Thursday, we have Working Folk String Band. Really looking forward to seeing them. Had a chance to see them at Porch Fest.
Yeah, that was super fun.
Yeah, with you. We had a great time at that. They're also playing there on Thursday. They also have their every other Tuesday old time music show that happens. It's coming up here on October 1st. They also have some Zydeco music coming up, which is one of my favorites. That's happening on October 3rd. That's Zydeco with Little Ann, Fiddle Lid, and Jorge Cuevas. So also coming up, there's a solo acoustic show with Mark Maynard. Chances are he'll have some friends there with him. So that's coming up on October 10th.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously love Mark, and we'll be there for that one. I'm excited for the Zydeco too. It's like every time they've done Zydeco at Bike Bar, it's just like turned into this like super fun dance party in this little downtown bar, and I have a good time every time.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the Zydeco as well.
Yeah. Local album news.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of good stuff coming out.
Yeah,
right?
there are. There's a whole bunch of excellent bands, local bands that have new albums coming out, either just coming out in the past couple weeks, or the past couple weeks are coming out soon. So we'll kick it off with the New Planets. They have a new album called Blood Diamonds. I believe that's coming out next Tuesday, the first week of October. That was recorded at their studio up at Black Bear Studio right here in Ithaca. So super excited for that one. Rose and the Bros also have a new album coming out. Very popular local band. They have an album release party coming up at South Hill Cider on Friday, October 11th. And for those of you who don't know, they're a powerhouse ensemble rooted in the older Zydeco tradition with an addition of crooning vocal harmonies, and country music influence. So come enjoy the farm-to-table food and cider along with live music on the lawn. They have a great setup there, great sunsets. It's a $10 cover, doors open at 4:30. They're also going to have CDs and vinyl for sale, as well as some new shirts. So that album is coming out officially on October 17th. So come on out this week and hear some of the new music that's being played. Also, another album that I just noticed is currently in the works. This is kind of surprising. Not surprising, I guess I knew they were working on new material, but one of my favorites and one of the local legends of Ithaca, John Brown's Body, is actually recording a new studio album at Black Bear Studio, along with the New Planets. And super excited to see what Kevin Kinsella and the rest of the guys there have in store for us. They haven't had an album come out in quite a while. They recently got back together last year. So super excited to hear the new music that's coming out for them.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's pretty much all the news, but it looks like it's going to be shaping up for a great fall and just tons of live music, and really excited to share it with everybody. So anything else that we had to talk about? I think we pretty much touched on everything that we had here on our list.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, right on. Well, that pretty much wraps up another episode of the Pulse of Ithaca podcast. Thanks for joining us. We're looking forward to bringing you some more interviews coming up with local musicians in the fall of season 2. We realize that you have a lot of options, and we'd like to thank everyone for tuning in and spending your time with us. We'd like to give a big shout out to all of our listeners in Ithaca and around the world. You make this show possible. I'm your host, Pete, and I've been joined by Michael. We hope that you enjoyed this episode and look forward to doing it with you again soon. If you love what you heard today, please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. Your support goes a long ways in helping us bring your latest and greatest from Ithaca every week. If you have an event or story or local favorite you'd like for us to cover, reach out to us on social media or shoot us an email. We'd love to hear from you. So until next time, keep your finger on the pulse of Ithaca and make the most of this place we call home. Take care, everyone.